hello, you know, I mean, I'm like, what man doesn't understand what I'm saying? And that's where we get into a bigger, broader subject about what pissed me off about how pathetic this industry can be at times. Don't act like you don't agree with me. Don't act like you don't see, meaning you don't see what I'm saying. Don't act like I'm out of left field as a man.
So I assume that Mayweather was in a similar spot because he made so much cash. And if you invested even in common stocks, you should do pretty well. But I mean, listen, Mayweather never flies commercial. He's only flying private.
And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd Mayweather? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. That they say can't read. That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it.
Stephen A. Smith slams Floyd Mayweather for careless spending while reacting to a Business Insider report that revealed Floyd financial troubles. He says Floyd should have managed his money smartly and focused on solid investments instead of wasting the huge amount he earned.
And make sure you develop your own lobbyist, right? And it's an abundance of y'all. And y'all have the capital to influence government. But you're not thinking like that because it involves real work and it involves a real conscientious thought. RC might have that. I might have that.
Stephen A. Smith also posted an old clip where he is seen visiting Floyd Mayweather during his peak. Floyd confidently showed off his collection of luxury cars, costly watches, and high-end items inside his lavish home.
This is a beautiful house, my man. How many square feet is this?
A little bit over 20,000 square feet, 3 or 4 levels.
Money Mayweather, seems appropriate that you would be living in Vegas.
My mentality is always about, working smarter, not harder.
I see that picture. Who is that?
And that's where it all started from.
That's you?
That's me. This picture is old school. I got the old school gloves on. And this is made of carpet, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm standing in a boxing ring in Grand Rapids, Michigan at Tawasi Boxing Club. That's where it all started from.
But you knew instantly you wanted to be a fighter.
That's all I knew. My whole life. That's all I knew.
What's your definition of toy?
Well, private jet, Enzo.
Aries Spears criticized careless spending habits while pointing to Mike Tyson and showing how bad money choices can impact even the most successful athletes.
The house I was hanging out at was one of like the OG jewelers. Like these are the, one of the jewelers that supplies like all the other jewelers, right? And he told me that Mayweather is broke.
I keep hearing this.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true.
I don't think it's
But he said that based on his spending and so forth, this is why these fights are happening now. That he needs to make some money back. That the spending has outpaced the money that,
he's been retired.
Right.
And he's still, flying to Monaco with a bad bitch buying up half the store.
Right. Always flying private.
Yeah.
Does he have his own plane?
Yeah, he does.
He does, right. So that's massively expensive. Even if you own it, the upkeep is huge. Right. Plus all the properties, all the property tax. Yeah, I mean, if you're not properly invested, because there was he was saying that he bought this building in the Diamond District, but people are saying that's, the same jeweler said that's actually not true.
Right.
So there's been a lot of stuff like that. Listen, I hope not, man, but I remember I interviewed Tyson. He lost like $300 million.
Grant Cardone, a business expert, criticized Floyd Mayweather, saying bad investments and careless spending decisions stopped him from building long-term financial stability and growth.
Floyd Mayweather's got 22 million people following him. But is it any good? Like I don't know what it does with him. Like, does it do business with him? Does it transact with him? I know guys with big followings. But there's nothing happens as a result of the following.
So you on the is Floyd rich or is Floyd broke? Which side?
I don't know. I think Floyd ends up broke.
Ends up broke
if he doesn't. It's not a Floyd thing. It's not a Floyd thing. It's an asset thing. If you don't end up in assets, you end up broke.
Yeah.
So because you can't keep fighting forever.
So if Floyd was watching right now, what would you say to him?
Floyd, you need to spend as much time working on your investments as you do in Neiman Marcus or the Gucci store, the Fendi store.
He could just invest with you, though, right?
He could invest to Cardone Capital. I would ensure that he's a billionaire.
Wow.
Like you cannot become a billionaire without
DJ Academics reacts to a Business Insider report about Floyd Mayweather claiming he has unpaid Mercedes debts and several other financial obligations that he is said to have left unsettled.
I'm financially set. I want to let everybody know this. He said in 2021, every property I have is paid for. My jet, paid for. All my cars are paid for. I own $1 billion buildings. Everything is no longer paid for. They're exposing him if you don't know. Mayweather took out millions of dollars in mortgages on his homes last year. Business Insider review shows he also faced a string of lawsuits and liens that say he owes money for a Mercedes Maybach G-Wagon. Wait, they make Maybach G-Wagons? What the jet fuel, which obviously is for his jet, and garbage collection at his Las Vegas mansion. So it looks like they've pulled all his debt. At the same time, he's trumpeted a major entry into the big league. Commercialized real estate. Starting in the fall of 2024, Mayweather talked about spending blitz on commercial property in New York through his newly formed real estate firm.
Floyd Mayweather presents himself as the greatest in boxing, always claiming no fighter matches his skill or record. While confidence is important, his constant self-promotion often annoys fans, critics, and other fighters, and sometimes feels like arrogance. Many believe this non-stop boasting takes attention away from his real achievements, making it seem like he cares more about his image than his legacy, even though his success in the ring with many wins and titles is undeniable. His public image, built on showing wealth and superiority, keeps admiration mixed with doubt and criticism from the boxing world and wider audience.
Because he owed so much money to them and had apparently not much of it in liquidity, not much that he could actually spend, or at least that's what his representatives said. His representatives wrote back to the IRS, it's a true story, you guys can look it up, that he could not make the payment. He couldn't do it. He didn't have $22 million liquid in cash for a guy that had made, up until that point, let's just say $900 million, because he made $300 million fighting Conor. He didn't have $22 million sitting around in a bank for all that cash he's flexing, for all those cars, for all the places. And again, I'm not saying that multi-millionaires and billionaires have $1 billion liquid, but you couldn't have found 22 mil. So his representative said, wait, we're going to have this fight, and then he'll pay you after the fight.
Chael Sonnen explains that Floyd Mayweather, like other top fighters, struggles to maintain wealth after retirement as fame fades and prime years are short. Many athletes who give their whole life to the sport are not ready for life after boxing without smart planning, investments, or other career options. Even the most successful can face financial problems once they are no longer active. Sonnen says boxing pays big at the top, but offers little long-term security if money is not handled wisely, and Mayweather's situation reflects this reality, showing that skill and fame alone cannot secure lifelong wealth without discipline and smart decisions.
I'm separated now. You know, I don't think there's no boxer in history that has accomplished what I've accomplished. Not bragging or boasting, just speaking the truth. I take my hat off to a lot of legendary champions, you know, that paved the way for me to be where I'm at in the sport of boxing. But that was their era, and this is my era. I had a tremendous career. And we got young fighters that's on the rise, that's under our banner. The ultimate goal is to find the next Floyd Mayweather that can break my records.
So is Gervonta Davis that good?
Dan Leard talks about the ongoing financial issues faced by Floyd Mayweather and says that as of February 2026, he filed a huge $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and Steven Espinoza to recover money and stabilize his finances. During his career, he earned over $1.2 billion from fights, which is an incredible amount, but Leard points out that while his earnings were massive, his spending was also extremely high.
Boxer, do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. Literally nobody. It's the same thing with boxing pay-per-view. Whatever boxing pay-per-view is the biggest boxing pay-per-view of all time is just whoever put out the press release and lied more than the person before them. These have never been confirmed by leadership of a publicly traded company. who is the one that supplies the pay-per-view. It is illegal for them to lie. You have never heard Time Warner. You have never heard Cox. You never heard DirecTV. You have never heard...
He is believed to have spent nearly $1 billion over 25 years on a luxury lifestyle filled with cars, jewelry, designer clothes, and expensive experiences, making it difficult to maintain long-term wealth, even with huge income. Lebout compares it to the movie Brewster's Millions, explaining how overspending can push someone to take unexpected steps like returning to the ring at 49 just to make money. He also says, much of Mayweather income came from public interest, with fans watching to see if he could lose, showing the power of fame in boxing.
Floyd Mayweather has initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion over the course of his career in just earnings from fights.
Yeah, I think a question though that you should also ask is, outside of like how much has he made, is how much has he spent? You know, because I would say he's fully capable of spending close to $1 billion in the last 25 years.
You say that, but I not to turn into the movie Brewster's Millions from the 1980s. It's hard to spend that money. It really is hard to spend that much money and end up in a situation where you have to fight at 49 because you're so used to a lifestyle that brings in giant amounts of money, that the only way for you to make a giant amount of money is to do what he's presently doing.
DJ Academics reports that Floyd Mayweather claimed to own a $42 million portfolio of rent-regulated Manhattan buildings, but records show no clear ownership. In the last 18 months, 2 of his commercial properties were foreclosed, and he was at risk of losing his Las Vegas business, the Girl Collection, due to over $52,000 in unpaid taxes. He also faced lawsuits over unpaid luxury items, including watches and jewelry, and creditors even went after his jet Air Mayweather, which he later sold. Along with Beverly Hills homes experts warned that without proper guidance, even his wealth is at risk.
Is something that somehow will make money because people will still want to watch if Floyd Mayweather can lose, because that's where he made his $1.2 billion. He made it in us watching to see if he'd lose.
I don't even think, like, it's just celebrity boxing is so popular because we are obsessed with celebrity culture, and this is the rare reality show in which we can see people fight, you know? Like, oh, wouldn't it be all...
DJ Vlad shares a surprising view on Mayweather finances, saying a well-known jeweler suggested he might be struggling because of years of heavy spending during his peak. He showed off wealth with cars, watches, and luxury items, creating an image of endless riches. But reports of unpaid debts to jewelers and others suggest that not everything was backed by actual cash.
A real estate conference with a session titled Real Estate Knockout, the Floyd Mayweather Strategy. Give me 1 second. The Floyd Mayweather strategy. The big talk doesn't always end in big deals, though. Business Insider found. Chat, they're exposing them. Mayweather's social media last year promoted an article that he reported that he made $100 million in his portfolio of a Manhattan luxury high-rise apartment towers owned by Go Partners. People with knowledge of this investment said Mayweather put a nominal sum late last year and did not invest further, and his initial equity in the deal was later absorbed by the Go Partners, leaving him with no stake. The portfolio of the buildings was eventually spun off into a publicly traded entity. In February, Mayweather also said he bought a portfolio in a rent-regulated apartment buildings in Upper Manhattan for $402 million, declaring that all the buildings belong to me. I don't got no partners. Business Insider previously reported that there were no property records showing an outright or majority sale.
This gap between appearance and reality shows an important lesson that looks can be misleading even for someone seen as the richest in boxing. Vlad says Mayweather's story is a warning for athletes and celebrities who focus on status instead of financial planning, because even huge earnings can be lost through poor money management. Looking at his lifestyle and reported debts gives a clearer picture of the challenges in keeping long-term wealth.
You would think that your investments would continue to grow,
right,
as long as you keep your spending under wraps. So like right now, like I could retire right now. This could be my last interview ever.
Right.
And with my investments, you know, I invested into a lot of great companies like Google and Amazon and Tesla over the years, and those companies have all grown and continue to grow, right? And I could actually borrow money against my stock portfolio without even selling.
Floyd Mayweather has also faced several legal issues, including a surprising case involving unpaid luxury jewelry, where a Miami jeweler claimed he received expensive items without full payment. This case showed a different side of Mayweather compared to his public image of wealth and luxury. While fans usually focus on his cars, watches, and lifestyle, such incidents reveal possible problems in money management and responsibility. These disputes remind that even people with huge earnings can struggle with financial discipline. The case gained attention because it involved high-end jewelry, which is a big part of his image, and it raised questions about planning and spending habits, showing the risks of choosing image over smart financial decisions.
Told me that Mayweather is in financial problems.
See, here's the part about actually losing your money when you're on that level and you're, kind of like flossing, showing off. Nobody gives a shit. Like there are people actually praying for you to be broke. And then when you do go broke, that's what people are going to say. Yeah. Oh, well, you should have invested better. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to give him any loans. So now, we might see Mayweather doing.
People will give him some loans.
Maybe.
Listen, he's cozying up to Israel. That's
but
not
the thing about it is, he had Mayweather Promotions. Yeah. And he was hosting a big, he had Javante Davis under his cars. And so that's a like
yeah, but
De La
look
Hoya
what happened to Javante.
Right. So if you can sustain that, you don't ever have to box again. But now has to take fights because when you floss like Mayweather, you can't go down.
Yeah,
you got to stay right there because people are gonna peep any kind of chinks in your armor if you're not wearing 3 or 4 big $1 million diamond chains.
Floyd Mayweather also changed his public image early in his career, switching his nickname from Pretty Boy Floyd to Floyd Money Mayweather, which showed his confidence and belief that he would become a billionaire. This new name represented a life of wealth, success, and power, and he fully embraced it by showing expensive cars, designer clothes, and luxury items. Fans and critics saw him as a symbol of extreme wealth, someone who proudly displayed his success and made others jealous. Over time, this luxury lifestyle became a major part of how people saw him, increasing both admiration and criticism.
So, a Miami jeweler that goes by the name of Leonard Suleymanov is like, give me my money. Give me my money. So he is hitting Floyd Mayweather with a huge lawsuit. Y'all, we're talking about a cool $4 million for some luxurious watches and diamonds that Floyd supposedly forgot to pay for. Y'all know he forget to cash checks. So maybe, you know what I'm saying? He might have forgot to pay for it for real. So even, y'all tell me if I'm saying.
However, recent reports about his financial struggles have changed how people view him. Seeing someone once untouchable now facing problems gives satisfaction to some, especially since his past displays of wealth created envy and resentment. This difference between his past image and current situation shows the reality of fame and money and proves that even the richest athletes can face difficult times. If you want, I can also merge all 15 interviews into a single smooth-flowing version that still keeps each interview labeled but reads like one continuous story. This makes it perfect for YouTube description or article use.